Shalom Aleichem. Shabbat Shalom. Welcome to Agudath Etz Ahayem Synagogue here in Montgomery, Alabama. I am Rabbi Scott Kramer. I'm so happy to be here with you. Shabbat Shalom. And we are praying out of Siddur Sim Lev Shalem, which is downloadable as a PDF file from our synagogue's website. We will begin tonight's service, page 5, with Shalom Aleichem. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei HaSharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malchei Amlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem l'shalom, malachei hashalom, malachei elyon, mi melech malchei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu. Barchuni l'shalom, malachei hashalom, malachei elyon, mi melech Malchei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzedchem l'shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malchei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Page 11. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena ladonai. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena ladonai. Naria, naria, letzur yishenu, nekad mafana betoda. Naria, naria, letzur yishenu, bizmirot naria lo. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena ladonai. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena ladonai. Naria, naria, letzur yishenu, nekad mafana betoda. Naria, naria, letzur yishenu, bizmirot naria lo. We continue in the English. Let us go and sing to Adonai. Let us trumpet praise to our protector, filled with thanks. Let us greet God, raising our voice in song. Great is Adonai, a greater sovereign than all other deities. God's hands formed the earth's deep. Mountain crests too are God's work. The sea is God's, for God made it. Dry land was fashioned by God's hands. Come then, let us bow and kneel. Let us bend our knees in the presence of Adonai who formed us. For Adonai is our God, and we are God's flock, sheep in God's caring hands. If only you would listen today to God's voice and not become hard-hearted like the people at Merivah, like that time at Massah, in the desert when your ancestors tried me and tested me, though they had seen what I had wrought. For 40 years I was troubled by that generation, and I said, these are a people whose hearts have gone astray. They do not know my way, so in anger I swore they would not enter my rest. 40 shana kut bedor va'omaram toeh levavhem v'hem lo yad derachai asher nishpati v'api im yavon el menuchati. Page 13, Psalm 96. Shiru ladonai shir chadash, shiru ladonai kol haaretz, shiru ladonai baruch shemo, basrum meyom leyom yeshuato, sapru vagoyim kevodo, bechol ha'amim nifliotav, ki gadol Adonai, o mehulal miyob. No rahu al ko Elohim lai 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 Kiko Elohe Amim Elilim Vadonai Shamayim Asa Had V'Hadar Lefanav Oz V'Tiferet B'Mikdasho Havu Ladonai Mishpachot Amim Havu Ladonai Kavod Vos Havu Ladonai Ke Nevod Shemo Seu Mincha Uvahu Lechatzerot Havlai Lai Lai Shtachavu Ladonai Behadrat Kodesh Chilu Mipanav Kol Haaretz Imru Vagoyim Adonai Malach Avtikum Tevel Balatimot Yadina Mim B'Meisharim Yismechu Hashamayim V'Tagil Haaretz Ayiram Mayamu Melo Yalo Sadai V'chol asher bo lai 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 Aziranu kol hatziyar Lifnei Adonai kiva lishpot haaretz Yishpot tevel b'tzedek V'yamim be'emunato Yalai la lai lai Yai la 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 lai Yai lai 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 Yai lai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai lai lai. Page 15, Psalm 97. Adonai reigns, let the earth be glad, the many distant lands rejoice. Clouds and thick darkness surround the divine. Righteousness and justice secure God's throne. Fire goes before God, consuming besiegers round about. Flashes of lightning illumine the land. The earth watches and trembles. Mountains melt like wax at the approach of Adonai, at the approach of the Master of all the earth. The heavens tell of God's righteousness, and all the nations see God's glory. Worshippers of idols be shamed for praising false gods. All that is deemed supreme bow before God. Zion hears of it and rejoices. The cities of Judah exult as you, Adonai, pass judgment. You, Adonai, are above all that is earthly, exalted over all that is worshipped as divine. Those who love Adonai hate evil. God protects the lives of the faithful, saving them from the hands of the sinful. Light is sown for the righteous and joy for the upright. Rejoice in Adonai, you righteous people, and thank God as you pronounce the divine holy name. Or zaru la tzadik v'le'Yisrael le'ev simcha, simchu tzadikim v'Adonai, v'hodu lezecher kadisho. Page 17, Psalm 98. Mizmor shiru ladonai shir chadash ki niflaot asa hoshia lo yemino uzero hakod shuadia Adonai Yeshuato le'enagoyim gilad tzidkato zachar chastav emunato Levei Yisrael, Ra'u cholav se'aretz, et Yeshuat Eloheinu, Oriu l'Adonai kol haaretz, Bitzchum deranenu v'zameru, Zamru l'Adonai bechinar, bechinar v'kol zimera, Bechatzot rod v'kol shofar, Horiu lifnei amelech Adonai, Yiramayam umaloho, Tevel v'yoshveva, Neharod yimchau chaf, Yachad harim niranenu, Lifnei Adonai kiva, Lishbot haaretz, Yishbot tevel b'tzedek, Ve'amim be'meisharim, Yalai la 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 la, Yalai la 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 la, Yalai la 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 la, Ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 la. Page 19, Psalm 99. Adonai reigns, nations tremble. The one enthroned amidst the cherubim makes the world quake. Adonai is great in Zion above all nations. They shall acknowledge your name, saying, Great, all-inspiring, Holy One. A sovereign strength lies in the love of justice, and you forge the paths of truth, judging Jacob righteously and justly. Exalt Adonai our God, bow down before God, the Holy One. Moses and Aaron among God's priests, and Samuel among those who called upon the divine name, called to you and you answered them. You spoke to them from amidst the cloud. They kept your covenant and the law you gave them. You answered them, Adonai our God. You were a forgiving God to them, even as you punished them for their transgressions. Exalt Adonai our God and bow down at God's holy mountain, for Adonai our God is holy. Ramemu Adonai Eloheinu v'ishtachavu lahar kadesho ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu. We rise if you are able. Page 21, Psalm 29. Mizmor leDavid, havu ladonai b'nei Elim, havu ladonai kavod vos, havu ladonai kavod shemo, ishtachavu ladonai behadrat kodesh, kol Adonai al hamayim, el kavod hirim Adonai omayim rabim. Kol Adonai ba'koach, Kol Adonai be'adar, Kol Adonai shover arazim, Vaishaber Adonai et alzei halvanon, Vayarkidem kemo egel, Lebanon v'Sirion kemo ven rebim, Kol Adonai chotzev lavotesh, Kol Adonai yachil midbar, Yachil Adonai midbar kadesh, Kol Adonai yecholeu ayalot, Vayechasot nyaharot, Uvehechalo kulo merkavod. Adonai lamabul yashavaye, Shevadonai melech leolam, Adonai oz leam o yiten, Adonai yevarech et amo v'shalom. You may be seated. We continue, page 23. Lecha dodi likrat kala p'nei Shabbat nikabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala p'nei Shabbat nikabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad, Hishmi'anu elam yuchad, Adonai echad u'shamo echad, L'shemo tiferet v'litila lecha, Dodi likrat kala p'nei Shabbat nikabela, Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha, Ki mikor abiracham merosh mikedem nesucha, Sov maaseh b'machshvat chila lecha dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nikabela, Mikdash melech ir melucha, kubisei mitocha hafecha ravlach shevet b'yemek habacha, V'hu yachamohu alayechem lalecha, Dodi likrat kala p'nei Shabbat nikabela, Hitnarim me'afar kumi, Livshei vigdei tifartecha mi, Ayad ben Yishai beit alachmi, Karva el nafshi gehi alalecha, Dodi likrat kala P'nei Shabbat nekabela. Hitoreri, kiva ore kumi uri, shir daberi kivod Adonai, Alayich nigla, lecha dodi, lekrat kala, P'nei Shabbat nekabela, lecha dodi, lekrat kala, P'nei Shabbat nekabela, lo tevoshi, v'lo tikami, ma tishtochachi, umatemi bach yechasu, ani ayami v'nivnatayir, al tila, lecha dodi, lekrat kala, P'nei Shabbat nekabela, v'hayulim shisa, Sho esayich derachaku komivalayich yasis alayich Elohayich kimchas chatan al kala lechadodi lekrat kala P'nei Shabbat nekabela yamin usmo tifroti v'yet Adonai taritzi ayadish Ben parti venismecha v'nagila lecha dodi lekrat kala P'nei Shabbat nekabila. We rise as we face towards the west to greet the Shabbat bride. Bo'i v'shalom ateret bala gam besimcha Uvitzala tochem munei am segula boichala lechadodi lekrat kala P'nei Shabbat nekabila. You may be seated. We continue with Psalm 92, page 27. A psalm, the song of the day of Shabbat. It is good to thank you, Adonai, and sing to your praise, Most High, to proclaim your love at daybreak, your faithfulness each night. Finger the lute, pluck the harp, let the sound of the lyre rise up. You glad me with your deeds, Adonai, and I shall sing of your handiwork. How wonderful are your works, Adonai, how subtle your designs. The arrogant do not understand, the fool does not comprehend this. The wicked flourish like grass, and every evildoer blossoms, only to be destroyed forever. But you, Adonai, are exalted for all time. Surely your enemies, Adonai, surely your enemies will perish. All who commit evil will be scattered. As a wild bull raises up its horn, you raised my head high, anointed it with fresh oil. As my enemies gather against me, my gaze remains steady, for my ears listen and hear. The righteous flourish like the date palm, thrive like a cedar in Lebanon. Planted in the house of Adonai, they flourish in our God's courtyards. In old age they remain fruitful, still fresh and bountiful, proclaiming, Adonai is upright, my rock in whom there is no flaw. Tzadik tamar yifrach, Ki erez balvanan yiske shetulim beveit Adonai bechatzrot Eloheinu yafrichu od yenuvun beseh Eva deshenim verhananim yiyu v'hagid ki yashar Adonai tzuri v'lo avlatabo. Page 29, Psalm 93. Adonai is sovereign, robed in splendor, girded in strength. The earth stands firm, not to be dislodged. From earliest time you are enthroned, you are eternal. The rivers rise up, Adonai. The rivers raise up their roar. The rivers raise up their waves. above the roar of the vast sea and the majestic breakers of the ocean. Adonai stands supreme in the heavens. In your house, beautiful in its holiness, your testimonies endure, Adonai, for all time. Shabbat Shalom. Welcome to everyone. I'm so glad you have taken part of your precious day and joined us for Shabbat. It's so nice to see so many people online tonight. The things in life that frustrate us are many. The thing that frustrates me a lot, maybe the most, I don't know, is waiting. I hate waiting. I hate waiting in line. Maybe it is the time I spent in LA, 6 lanes of highway in each direction, cars packed like sardines, moving at 1 mile an hour. This, pun intended, drove me crazy. And then some crazy person would start a new lane on the shoulder, beeping their horns at anyone pulled over for a flat, impeding their path. And of course, that particular day, I forgot my CDs. You remember when we had CDs in cars? Nothing was on the radio. Or the lines at the grocery store. I always pick the one line that invariably is the longest line, even though it might not be long when I start. It is definitely the longest when I'm finished. Because someone will pull out 80 coupons, or the cashier is new and keeps calling the manager for a price check. In Israel, people come into the store. You have to see this to believe it. They come into the store, they grab a cart, and they put the empty cart in line and then go shopping, yelling at any live person in line who would get in front of them. It's ingenious. This week's Torah portion teaches us about impatience and its consequences. In this week's Torah portion, we read about Moses receiving the first set of tablets of the Torah on Mount Sinai, staying up there for 40 days and nights. As he is coming down the mountain, he hears a revelry that he had not anticipated. The Israelites, having despaired that Moses was not going to come back to them, had Aaron make them an Egel Zahav, a golden calf to worship instead of God. They had expected Moses to be back by a certain time, and of course Moses had not observed their time schedule. After Moses sees the golden calf and the impatience of the Israelites, he gets extremely angry and smashes the tablets in front of the partying Israelites. He asks them, "Whoever among you is for God, step forward." The Levites were the only ones to step forward, and they had not participated in the festivities. They proceeded to kill about 3,000 of the Israelites for their affront to Moses and God. This is highly troubling and gruesome text, and one that is, well, maybe embarrassing to us all. The story of the golden calf comprises the first 2 aliyot of this week's portion. These first 2 aliyot are very long. The sages say that there is a reason why they comprise the first 2 aliyot, which are usually reserved for the Levites of the congregation. The first aliyah for the Kohen, who belonged to the tribe of Levi, and the second for a Levi who was not a Kohen. The law that one does not call up a person to the Torah who is blind or lame, to that Torah portion which deals with a person who is blind, broken, or maimed. And this comes from Leviticus 22:22, so that the person should not feel ill at ease. As the tribe of Levi was the only one which did not participate in the sin of the golden calf, the aliyot were arranged so as to ensure that a Levite is called up for the reading of the account of the building of the golden calf. It is also accustomed to read the account of the golden calf softly. The rabbis are sensitive that there are subjects in the Torah that might cause some amount of stress to people, and in accordance with that, don't want to cause people to be unduly ill at ease with the reading. The Torah was not written to constantly remind us of our failings as human beings, but to point out that our full potential is within reach. The Torah points out pitfalls that we might find ourselves in and the right mode of behavior to observe when presented with said pitfall. Patience is not a great virtue for a lot of people, especially in this day and age of need it right now. And what's taking so long? And would you mind hurrying up? A few years ago, I heard of someone was taking an inordinate amount of time at a Starbucks drive-through, and a person behind him started honking their horn, and would not stop. The person holding up the line, instead of honking back or screaming back or doing something offensive to defend himself, simply asked the cashier what was the total of the order for this person behind him, and proceeded to pay it, and then just left. Wow. How many of us would react that way? That probably diffused the impatient person to the point they probably learned something about themselves and started giving people a little more leeway into their private space. Well, maybe for a micron of a second. We should all examine those things in our lives that make us impatient and ask the human question, the Torah question. Why am I so impatient? Riches await those who are willing to take the time and wait for what is truly important in our lives, that of positively connecting with our fellow humans that share this planet with us. Maybe next time in the grocery store, I might just try talking with the people in line. That's what Daphne does. Rather than sneering at the clerk or mega coupon holder, or maybe not be so passive aggressive and not let the guy who wants to merge in front of me on the highway. With behavior like this, we all make a better, kinder world, a world deserving of a better age, maybe even a messianic age. Shabbat Shalom. We will continue with Ma'ariv, page 39a. Please rise if you're able for the Baruch Hu, the call to worship. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach, Baruch Adonai HaMevorach, Leolam V'Ho'ed. You may be seated. Baruch atah Adonai, our God, sovereign of time and space, whose word brings the evening dusk, whose wisdom opens the gates of dawn, whose understanding changes the day's division, whose will set the succession of seasons and arranges the stars in their places in the sky, who creates day and night, who rolls light before darkness and darkness from light, who makes day pass into night, who distinguishes day from night. Adonai Tzevaot is your name, living and ever-present God. May your rule be with us forever and ever. Baruch atah Adonai, who brings each evening's dusk. O Mahavir Yom Mevi Laila, Mavdihu Ben Yom Mevi Laila, Adonai Tzevaot Shemo, El Chai V'Kayam Tamid Yimloch Aleinu Lam Vohed, Baruch atah Adonai, Hamari V'Aravim, page 40. Ahavat Olam Beit Yisrael Amchavta Torah u'mitzvot chukim u'mishpatim otanu limadeta al kein Adonai Eloheinu b'shachveinu v'kumeinu nasiach bechukecha v'nismach b'divrei Toratecha uv'mitzvotecha le'olam vohed ki em chayenu v'orech yameinu uvahem menege yomam v'layla v'yavadcha tasi mimenu la'olamim baruch atah Adonai ohev amo Yisrael. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavecha u'v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol me'odecha v'hayu hadvarim ho'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinanatam levanecha v'dibarta habam b'shivdecha b'veitecha uv'lechtecha v'derech uv'shachbecha v'kumecha kshartam niot al yadecha v'hayu latotafot b'ninecha uchtabtam nam zuzot beitecha uvisharecha v'haya im shamao tishma'u mitzvah asher anochi Vayomer Adonai Moshe lemor daber el bnei Yisrael v'yamarta lehem v'yasu lehem tzitzit al kanfei v'gdehem ledoratam v'natnu al tzitzit hakanaf b'til techelet v'haya lachem letzitzit oritem oto uzkartem nitko mitzvot Adonai v'asitem hotam v'lo tatu acharei levavchem v'acharei nechem asher temzonim achareihem leman dizgaru v'asitem netko mitzvotai v'item kedoshim leloechem ani Adonai Eloechem asher otzeiti etechem me'eretz Mitzrayim liot lachem le'elohim ani Adonai Eloechem Adonai Elohechem Ehemet, page 43a. This is our enduring affirmation binding on us that Adonai is our God and there is none other, and we, Israel, are God's people. God is our sovereign, redeeming us from earthly rulers, delivering us from the hand of all tyrants, bringing judgment upon our oppressors and just retribution upon all our mortal enemies. performing wonders beyond understanding and marvels beyond all reckoning. God places us among the living, not allowing our steps to falter, and leads us past the false altars of our enemies, exalting us above all those who hate us. Adonai avenged us with miracles before Pharaoh offered signs and wonders in the land of Egypt. God brought Israel from its midst to lasting freedom and led them through the divided water of the Sea of Reeds. As their pursuers and enemies drowned in the depths, the God's children beheld the power of the divine. They praised and acknowledged God's name. Page 44. U'malchuto b'ratzon kibalea Moshe u'Miriam u'vnei Yisrael nishira b'simcha rabba v'yamaru chulam mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai mi chamocha Nedor ba'kodesh nora tehilot o seifele malchutecha ra'u v'necha b'kiyam lifnei Moshe zeli anu v'yameru Adonai yimloch leolam voed v'nehemar kifad Adonai et Yaakov u'galad mi'ad chazak mimenu baruch et Adonai Ga'al Yisrael. Page 45. Hashkiveinu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom. Ushmotzeitenu vein l'chaim u'shalom yatav yad olam u'frohosalenu sukat shalomecha baruch et Adonai aboret sukat shalom aleinu v'al kol amo Yisrael V'al Yerushalayim, page 46. We rise if you are able. V'shamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledoratam barit olam. V'shamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat La'asot et ha-Shabbat ledoratam barit olam. Beini uvein b'nei Yisrael oti le'olam, oti le'olam, oti le'olam. V'shamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledoratam barit olam. Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et ha-shamayim v'et ha'aretz v'shamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledoratam barit olam. Uvayom hashvi shavat vayinafash shavat vayinafash shavat vayinafash V'shamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat na'asot et ha-Shabbat ledoratam barit olam. We rise for the silent Amidah, pages 47 through 52. If you have not completed your Amidah, please continue at your own pace. We will continue with Aleinu. Please rise if you're able, page 56, as the ark is opened. Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol l'teit gedula li'otzeh b'reshit shelo asanu k'guyei ha'atzot v'lo samanu k'mishmachot ha'adama shelo sam chelkeinu ka'im v'gor aleinu kechol hamonam v'anachnu korim u'mishtachavim u'modim l'fnei melech malchei hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu Shehunatei Shamayim V'Yosei Haaretz U'Moshav Yikara B'Shamayim Limal U'Shchinatu Zo B'Gavei Meromim Hu Eloheinu Einod Emet Mokeinu Evazulato Kakatu B'Torato V'yadat Ahayem v'hashevota elevavecha ki Adonai hu Elohim b'shamayim mimal v'al haaretz mitachat ein od al ken v'Adonai Eloheinu li'avim b'divrei. Gagadu b'doratecha Adonai moch le'olam vo'ed v'nehemar v'haya Adonai l'melech al kol ha'aretz bayom mahu yeh Adonai echad u'shemo Echad. You may be seated. Yeah, I think we can do that. There was a request to do a prayer for healing. I think that's very appropriate for tonight. There are so many people in our midst that need blessings from God. They need our prayers for their complete healing. I'm going to do a very modern song that a lot of synagogues do, according to the tune of Debbie Friedman's Blessing for Healing. Misheberach Avoteinu Mikor Abracha Leimotenu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. I'm going to read the names that we have on our list. Please go ahead and type the names in chat, and I'll be more than happy to share those names with you. Helen Byrne, Chana Batzar, Marjorie Allen, Charles Miller, Marcia Orange, Leon Capuano, Virginia Madden, Lynn Schulworth, Brooke Ben Elisheva, Kay Bully, Jeannie Meisler, Tiana Barber, Susie Bierman, Elisheva Batsara, Art Sandak, Malka Amster, Parker, Raymond James Gray, Johnny Sweat, Lisa Shapiro, Betty Ehrlich, Billy Canary, Caldwell family, Nikki Decker, Sheila Decker, Carla Labato, Velma Chori, Rick Garcia, Paul Smith, Marlon Barnes, Davina Machado, Karen Frost Levy, Gary Pope, Gittel Tamar Bat Miriam. Misheberach Imotenu Mikor Abracha Leavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. This week we will observe yard sites for Roy Emanuel, Esther Cohen, Leibowitz, Miriam Reiner, Louis Byrne, Rose Butler, Fanny G. Goldfield, Melanie Nur, Rebecca Rich, Louis Schinbaum, Matilda D. Cohen, Helen Weisberger, Faye Allen, Abraham Stum, Terry Aronov, Morris R. Franco, Yale C. Friedlander, Rebecca Center, Ruben D. Lipman, Philip Plotka, Daniel Siegel, David Siegel, Harvey Taffet, Beulah of Zardel, and Victor Raphael Saracen. Those observing yard site and those who mourn, please rise and join me, page 58, for the Kaddish tome, the Mourner's Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei rabba b'yama divrach chirutei v'yamlech malchutei b'chayechon v'yamechon v'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael b'agalav zman kari v'yimaru amen yehei shmei rabba mevarach le'olam olmel maya yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitba'ar v'yitchomam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei d'kudisha b'richu Leilamin kol birchata v'shirata tushbachata v'nechamata da'amiran b'yoma v'yimaru amen Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'yimaru amen Oseh shalom b'mramav uyaseh shalom aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'yimaru amen. And you may be seated. Thank you so much for joining us. Shabbat Shalom to everyone. Services will continue tomorrow morning at 9:30 a.m. And keep in mind, we are wide open. You may join us in person. I would love to see a sanctuary full of people again. And tomorrow morning as well. Tomorrow evening, the Alabama Community Virtual Havdalah will meet at 7 p.m. for the completion of Shabbat through words of Torah and music. This will be via Zoom. If you would like to come and did not get the link, please email me, and I will be more than happy to get that link to you before the service starts tomorrow at 7 p.m. On Sunday morning, set your alarm for 2 a.m., get up, and move your clocks forward, and then go back to sleep. And hopefully you won't sleep that extra hour. I think that's the way it works. I really have no idea. I just know it's spring forward, so I think we lose an hour. And if Congress has their way, I think this may be the last time we actually change times. That it's not law yet, but it may become law. All right, so the time changed this weekend. And of course, Monday and Thursday, we have minions at 7:15 a.m. with breakfast following. And I think that's about it. So we will conclude tonight's service, page 211. Adon olam asher malach b'terem kol yitzir nivra li'ed nasa v'chepso kol azai melech shemo nikra azai melech shemo nikra v'yacharei kichlot hakol levado yimloch nora V'hu ayam, v'hu ove, v'hu yiyeh b'tifara, v'hu yiyeh b'tifara, v'hu echad v'yein sheni laham shelo lehachbira, b'li reshit, b'li tachlit, v'lo ha'oz v'ham misra, v'lo ha'oz v'ham misra, v'hu eli v'chai go'ali v'tzor, Chevli b'yetzara, v'hu nisi umanosli minat kosi b'yom mekra, minat kosi b'yom mekra, b'yado avkid ruchi b'yet ishan v'yahira, v'im ruchi giviyati, Adonai li v'lo ira, Adonai li v'lo ira. Shabbat Shalom.